There is one rule when driving through the cornfields of Route 83 at night. No matter what you see in your headlights, no matter what you think you hit, do not stop. Because out here, in the dead of winter, the corn doesn't just grow, it hungers. Tonight, Ethan made a mistake. He hit the brakes. And now, something ancient is walking toward the car, holding a pair of rusted shears. Welcome to the nightmare of the Scissor Girl. Let's take a drive. Imagine it's 12:45 a.m. You are on Route 83, cutting through the heart of Nebraska. The cornfields here, they don't just stretch, they suffocate. Mile after mile of dry, withered husks, standing like silent soldiers in the pitch black. The wind blows through them, creating a sound like 1,000 dry whispers. Swish, swish, swish. Ethan was tired. He was driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee, pushing 70 miles per hour on a road that hadn't seen a streetlight in 40 miles. Beside him, his wife Sarah was asleep, her head resting uncomfortably against the window. In the back, his 10-year-old daughter Lily was curled up in a ball, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Ethan's eyes were heavy. The white lines on the road were starting to blur into a singular hypnotic snake. He blinked, trying to clear the fog from his mind. The heater hummed a low, monotonous drone. It was warm inside, but outside it was a freezing January night. Suddenly, a flash of white caught his high beam. It wasn't a deer, it wasn't a coyote. It stood right in the middle of the asphalt, small, pale, human. Ethan screamed, slamming the brakes with both feet. The SUV screeched, tires smoking, rubber burning against the tarmac. The vehicle fishtailed violently, skidding sideways before coming to a jarring, bone-shaking halt just inches from the deep drainage ditch. Silence returned, heavy, oppressive. The engine stalled. Sarah jolted awake, gasping for air. "What?" she cried out, her voice thick with panic. "Ethan, did we hit something?" Ethan sat frozen, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. His heart was hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He stared through the windshield. Dust motes danced in the headlight beams. But the road was empty. I think I saw a kid," Ethan whispered, his voice trembling. "A little girl, right in the middle of the damn road." Sarah unbuckled her seatbelt, looking out into the endless wall of corn stalks. "A kid?" she asked, her voice rising in disbelief. "Out here? In the middle of nowhere?" Ethan threw the door open. The cold air hit him instantly. It wasn't just winter cold. It was a damp, rotting chill that smelled of sulfur and old earth. He grabbed his phone, turning on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness. He checked the bumper, the grille, the tires. Nothing. No blood, no dent, no body. "I must be losing it," he muttered to himself, wiping cold sweat from his forehead. Highway hypnosis. He got back into the car and turned the key. The engine sputtered and died. No, 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 Ethan cursed, slamming his hand on the dashboard. Come on, start! Great, Sarah sighed, pulling out her phone. Just great, and of course, SOS only, no signal. She tapped the GPS screen on the dashboard. The map was spinning in circles, unable to lock on to a location. It simply read, "Near Black Hollow." Black Hollow, Ethan repeated. The name hung in the air like smoke. Sarah was scrolling through her phone, finding a cached page from a local forum she had opened miles ago. Her face went pale as she read the text on the screen. Ethan, listen to this. The Scissor Girl of Route 83. 2 years ago, a construction crew found 3 bodies buried in these fields. All of them had their throats torn out. The coroner said it looked like garden shears. Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. Stop it, Sarah. It's just an urban legend. There's more, she continued, her voice trembling. Truckers report seeing a girl in a white 1800s-style dress walking the shoulder. She carries something metal. If you stop, you disappear. They call her the Harvester. Just as the word harvester left her lips, a sound came from the back seat. Tap, tap, tap. It wasn't Lily moving. It was the sound of a fingernail tapping against the glass window from the outside. Ethan whipped his head around. There was nobody there, just the dark glass reflecting their terrified faces. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered. "Daddy?" Lily's voice came from the back seat. It sounded groggy. "Who is she?" Ethan turned to his daughter. "Who is who, honey?" Lily pointed a trembling finger toward the windshield, out into the pitch-black cornfield. The girl in the white dress. She was tapping on my window. She says she wants to play." Suddenly, the car's Bluetooth system, which should have been dead along with the battery, crackled to life. Static filled the cabin. It was loud, piercing, like the sound of dry leaves being crushed. "Turn it off!" Ethan yelled. Then the static cut out. Absolute silence. And then a voice filtered through the speakers. It wasn't an operator. It was a child's voice, high-pitched, distorted.
Ring a roses. Ring a roses.
Sarah covered her mouth to stifle a scream. The voice giggled, a wet, gurgling sound.
Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
The last word echoed with a metallic reverb. Down, down, down. The call cut. The headlights flickered on, dim and yellow. And there she was, standing 20 feet in front of the car. A girl, maybe 10 years old. She wore a dress that looked like it belonged in a museum, high collar, lace that was yellowed with age and stained with brown filth. Her legs were bare, pale as moonlight, and covered in scratches. But it was what she held in her hands that made Ethan's blood turn to ice. A pair of shears. Not normal scissors. These were industrial sheep shears, long, rusted iron blades, almost half the size of her arm. Ethan watched as she slowly opened and closed them. Snick, snick. The sound was sharp, cutting through the wind. "I'm going out there," Ethan said, his voice hardening. He reached under his seat and pulled out a heavy tire iron. "Ethan, no!" Sarah screamed, grabbing his arm. "Don't open the door." "She's just a kid, Sarah," Ethan snapped, though he didn't believe it himself. "I'm not sitting here like a sitting duck." He stepped out onto the gravel. The wind howled around him. He walked toward the girl. "Hey!" he shouted. "Drop the scissors. Where are your parents?" The girl didn't flinch. She stood perfectly still. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, she raised her head. Ethan stopped dead in his tracks. Where her eyes should have been, there were just dark, empty hollows. No eyeballs, just deep black pits. And her mouth, it was sewn shut. Thick black thread crisscrossed her lips in a crude X. Ethan stumbled back, his breath hitching in his throat. The girl raised a gray, peeling finger and pointed. Not at Ethan, but past him, toward the ditch on the side of the road.
Ethan felt a compulsion, a pull he couldn't resist. He walked to the edge of the ditch and shone his light. Buried in the mud was another pair of shears, ancient, rusted. He reached down. His fingers brushed the cold metal. Boom! The world spun. The Jeep was gone. The asphalt road was gone. Ethan was on his knees in the mud, but it wasn't 2024 anymore. It was 1850. A storm was raging. A pioneer wagon lay overturned in the mud. A woman stood by the wagon. She was dressed in black settler's clothes. Her name, Ethan somehow knew, was Mary. She was pregnant, heavily pregnant, but she was screaming at the sky. "The harvest," she shrieked. "The corn demands blood. The roots are dry." Ethan watched in horror as Mary dragged a child, a boy, from the back of the wagon. "You go to the earth," she hissed. "You feed the roots, so the rest of us may live." Ethan tried to look away, but he couldn't. He saw Mary raise the shears. He saw the glint of iron. He screamed, "No!"
Ethan gasped, snapping back to reality. He fell back onto the asphalt of Route 83. The vision was gone. The girl with the sewn mouth was gone. He scrambled up, covered in mud, and ran back to the car. He ripped the door open and dove inside, locking it instantly. "Drive!" he wheezed. "We have to leave!" "The car won't start, Ethan!" Sarah was crying. Ethan looked in the rearview mirror to check on Lily. Lily wasn't crying. She was sitting up straight, staring at the back of Ethan's head. Her eyes were wide, unblinking. "Lily?" Ethan asked, his voice trembling. "Baby, are you okay?" Lily tilted her head. A slow, unnatural smile spread across her face. It didn't look like his daughter's smile. It looked ancient. "Daddy," she said, but the voice wasn't hers. It was the voice from the radio, the distorted, playful voice. "Mary didn't lose her baby, Daddy." Ethan froze. "What?" "The history books got it wrong," the thing that looked like Lily giggled. "Mary didn't have a miscarriage. The corn took it, the roots took it, and now she wants a trade." "A trade?" Sarah whispered. "A soul for a soul," the entity hissed. "One of us has to go below." Ethan looked at the girl's hands. They were dirty, covered in fresh black mud. Lily hadn't left the car. How was she muddy? Unless the thing in the back seat wasn't Lily. Unless the trade had already happened when the car crashed. "You're not Lily," Ethan whispered, tears streaming down his face. "Where is my daughter?" The entity's eyes rolled back, turning a milky white. It opened its mouth, and the sound of cracking bones filled the car. "She is with the Roots now." Suddenly, something hit the roof of the car. Clang! Then the sound of scratching. Like metal shears dragging across the metal roof. "She's on the roof!" Sarah screamed. The car engine roared to life on its own. The dashboard lit up red. Smoke started pouring from the vents. "Get out!" Ethan screamed. "Sarah, get out!" But the doors wouldn't open. The locks were jammed. Ethan looked back one last time. The thing in the back seat was laughing, holding up a pair of shears. And behind it, outside the rear window, standing in the cornfield, Ethan saw her. The real Lily. She was standing next to the woman in black, Mary. Mary's hand was resting on Lily's shoulder. Lily was crying, watching her parents trapped in the burning car. "Lily, run! Baby, run!" The gas tank ignited. A pillar of fire lit up Route 83, brighter than the sun. The scream was cut short, and then silence returned to the cornfields. Just the wind. Whoosh, whoosh. And the faint sound of a child singing in the distance.